Hello everyone, welcome to Leeation. In this video, we are going to discuss about 3 different interesting topics about aviation industry, so make sure you watch the full video. And let's get started. Number 1. The situation of Emirates A380s at 2022. Opportunities to fly on the Airbus Super Jumbo are becoming more limited. There's one airline that always had our backs. Emirates is heavily invested in the A380 and was always going to bring back at least some of its fleet. But question remained over exactly how many would make a return and when. Earlier this month, it became more apparent that of all the pilots who have been laid off from Emirates, that vast majority were A380 pilots. Indeed, the number left at the airline made up around 25% of the total pilot contingent, suggesting that the A380 wouldn't be returning at any scale anytime soon. Emirates President Sir Tim Clark reassured viewers of Bloomberg News that most of the A380s will be coming back as predicted. However, the bulk could be missing from the Emirates fleet for as long as 12 months from now. In the interview, Clark said, "My view, and it's always an optimistic view, is that by the end of next calendar year or first quarter of 2022, we'll have all our A380s flying." The Emirates president seems beyond the news of forthcoming vaccines and believes that the world will see strong demand for travel in the coming months. He alluded to becoming cash positive by the end of 2021, something that IATA analysis suggested was possible. Although airlines around the world have moved to rated quad jets from their fleets, Tim Clark believes that Super Jumbo remains a core part of Emirates' product. He said the A380 remains the flagship of Emirates. It is the one that defines our product. It is the one that is recognized by the consumers, and people are still trying to get on it from all parts of our networks. It will always be there for us until such time as it finally has to return. Clearly, this is a statement more driven by the images than economics. Even now, Emirates is opting to operate the more efficient twin-jet Boeing 777 than the gas-guzzling behemoth that is the A380. But clearly, the aircraft holds a special place in Clark's heart. There were some worries that with the Dreamliners and A350s on order for its future fleet, the A380 could be squeezed out as a result. However, Clark stated that these aircraft will be injected once the time is right and not before. In terms of finance, Emirates has already received a $2 billion bailout from the United Arab Emirates government. Clark believes that this is enough to see it through, although he didn't rule out taking another helping hand in the coming months. Number 2. Brazil has recertified the 737 MAX aircraft. ANAC, or National Civil Aviation Agency of Brazil, has recertified the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft in Brazil for its operation after 1.5 years. In doing so, it becomes the second national aviation regulatory body to recertify the 737 MAX following the Federal Aviation Administration of United States. ANAC is withdrawing the emergency airworthiness directive that restricted the operation of MAX in Brazil. Currently, only Golden Areas has a Boeing 737 MAX fleet in Brazil. It operates 7 aircraft of this model and has a standing order of 95 more. Unlike other international regulators, Brazil is putting more of its trust in the Federal Aviation Administration process. ANAC said the Federal Aviation Administration Directive of Airworthiness released on 28 November was also adopted by ANAC. It has automatic force in Brazil and should be fulfilled immediately by airline operators that wish to operate the model. Last week, after Federal Aviation Administration approved the MAX, the Brazilian aviation regulator said it was also in the final steps of its recertification process. Rafael Botelho, president of ANAC, said, "This effort is an example of cooperation among civil aviation authorities. Few countries have the experience to recertify a system that is so complex." In the meantime, ANAC works with independent evaluators. We are securing that all the requirements are fulfilled for the safe return of this aircraft in Brazil. Now, ANAC has shed more light on the certification process. Among the design requirements, it asked for a reconfiguration of the flight control system of the MAX. ANAC also ordered the cable group's routing correction, review the procedures incorporated in the flight manual, and test of sensors recalibration. Moreover, ANAC, along with other aviation authorities, revised the pilot training program. Roberto Honorato, ANAC superintendent of airworthiness, said the thorough evaluation of the flight control system is an unprecedented milestone milestone in aviation history. Last week, Golden Airways said it was ready to put its Boeing 737 MAX back in the air. Moreover, Gold added that it was working on guaranteeing all the technical and operational requirements, including pilot and crew training. The Brazilian airline is eager to fly again its MAX. Brazil is having a nice recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. In that sense, Gold needs all the help it can get to push back its capacity to pre-COVID levels. 3. Former Thai Airways CEO has sent to jail for avoiding luggage fees. While Bukanasud is the former CEO of Thai Airways, had one of the shortest tenures of any chairman of an airline board in history. He was appointed in April 2009 but resigned in December that year after details emerged of an abuse of power. Now a decade later, Wallop is facing 2 years jail time for his misdemeanor. The former chairman was found by Thailand's Central Criminal Court for corruption and misconduct guilty of breaching Section 11 of the National Anti-Corruption Act. His crime involved bringing a huge amount of excess baggage back with him from a trip to Tokyo and leveraging his status to avoid paying for it. Mr. Wallop returned from Tokyo on November 14th in 2009 with his wife. Flying back from Narita Airport, he held first-class tickets for Thai Airways flight Tango Golf 677 to Bangkok. Including in the ticket was up to 120 kg of baggage allowance. However, Mr. Wallop and his wife brought with them baggage weighted at least 380 kg in total. That means he should have been liable to pay baggage charges on the 260 kg of excess weight, something that would have cost the chairman hundreds of thousands of baht or several thousands dollars. Rather than pay the charge, Mr. Wallop ordered airline staff to underreport the weight of his baggage. He avoided the charges and flew back to Thailand without paying. When news of the discrepancy began to circulate among Thai Airways staff, the workers' unions were outraged. There were angry calls for the chairman to tender his resignation. At one point, the unions ordered airline staff to wear black in protest of his actions. However, Wallop argued his case, saying that he was bringing back fruits and other items that he has planned to donate to local Buddhist temples. Whether that was what happened to the items is unknown. But when he was ordered later in the year to pay for the baggage, he resigned from his position. Finding him guilty of abuse of authority, the court also heard a case against him for being in receipt of gifts and donations. The former chairman allegedly received more than $100 worth of gifts, including fruit and Kobe beef, from an unnamed private firm. The court sentenced Wallop to 2 years in jail without suspension. While it's taken a long time to bring the former chairman to justice, it hasn't come at a great time for Thai Airways. The company grounded most of its fleet early in the COVID crisis and is currently only flying a limited service under strict access criteria. The airline filed for business reorganization with the bankruptcy court in September and is expected to formalize its plan by the end of the year. More than 30% of its staff have already lost their jobs, with remaining workers functioning on severely reduced pay. So comment your thoughts below about the topics what we have covered in this video, and make sure that you have subscribed and liked the video if you really enjoyed it. I was also thanking my viewers and subscribers for all your supports. Thank you for watching. Have a safe flight.